Robby D and the lesser known.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Robby D and the Lesser Knowns. I am your expert host, Robby D.
Hello.
No, my pause.
Oh, yes.
Great. Thank you. With me, as always, producer Will.
Hello.
There he is, his one-word wonder. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a truly monumental day. In the booth, we have a fantastic guest who refers to himself as a model, an actor, a writer. But he's much more than that. He's also an artist. He's a producer. He's pretty tall. He's got a great beard. And he's in our booth, and he's here for you. His name is Mr. Lou Ferrigno Jr. Fantastic.
Wow, thank you. That was nice.
It was good. So, Lou, I'm going to take you all the way back to the very beginning, the day you were conceived. Okay. What was that like?
It was February stormy night. My birthday's in November, so it was roughly 9 months after Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. So I think there was some love in the air. And my parents were in France doing something. And then 9 months later, here I was. But I knew the whole way through. I knew it was going to happen.
Dark night in France. I feel like I'm getting pregnant.
Right?
So you've been to Paris then, technically?
Technically, I've spent one night in Paris, yes.
That's fantastic stuff. Let's fast forward a little bit to your childhood. So you were actually born and raised in Santa Monica.
Yep, St. John's on Santa Monica Boulevard.
That's where my daughter was born.
Nice.
Santa Monica, though, but same area.
That's okay. That's cool. There's different areas of Santa Monica, though. You notice, like by the airport, and then you got the down by the beach towards Venice, and then you got the up north of Montana, kind of uppity. Mm-hmm. You know, but there's different parts. So I used to live on Orange, like off Ocean Park by the airport. It's very different, Santa Monica.
I lived at National and Bundy by the airport.
Nice. Is that technically Santa Monica?
It is.
Okay.
Just barely.
Yeah.
Just barely. I could literally see the planes taking off from my bedroom.
Nice.
Which was cool and not cool at the same time.
Nice. Yeah, it was interesting growing up in Santa Monica. It was a much more beach, sleepy town than it was. There was a gas station on Montana Avenue, you know, but now it's very posh and so many different languages on the promenade. The promenade used to be like sketch. Yeah. There were no lights or no parking attendants in the structures, just an open structure. People started getting sexually molested and harassed and even worse. And then finally they started putting in money into the city, and I've seen it grow, and it's just incredible where it's at now.
If you watch the National Lampoon's National Lampoon's Vacation, when they go to Wally World, there's actually a gas station at the corner of Santa Monica and Ocean.
Oh, really?
Oceanfront view. There's a Chevron or what is it? Like I remember watching it, being like, "Holy shit, that's like where the Georgia Hotel is." Like, yeah, that's a lot of real estate, and you got a fucking Chevron.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But wasn't it like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something that started the cleanup of Santa Monica? I think he was one of the early investors of like.
You're gonna give him credit for the cleanup of Santa Monica?
I don't know. Like he started bringing money into. I don't know. You tell me.
What?
I'm asking.
I don't know about that. I mean, what happened was Gold's Gym was on Pacific by Joe Gold started, and then it moved to, I think it was 2nd Street or 4th Street by the Promenade, and then the rents were too high, and then they moved back to, they moved to where their current place is now. But Santa Monica was always, I don't know how it happened. I mean, before the tech boom, there was still like, it was definitely a destination place to be. The beach, the Palisades Park, looking over the ocean, so many films were filmed there. Mm-hmm. But I don't know who would be responsible for putting money into Santa Monica. A lot more than Arnold, I would think.
Fair enough. I hear rumors, and I just see if they're true or not.
He carried most of the trash by the poundage.
Yes.
He did it himself.
Yeah.
We got to clean up 3rd Street.
Come on, put it down. Throw it away.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That was very good.
Well, I did an Arnold. I didn't. I've
crazy.
always. I've had a very close kinship with the idea of Arnold Schwarzenegger my whole life, because my father and him have always been combatants on stage, and they've also been friends. So I've always had this, and then I just did an episode of 911, and we were at a table shooting. And then I just started going off on Kenny Choi in this Arnold accent. And then it was on, I mean, all the cameras were up and everything. And all of a sudden, I just started hearing laughter in the background. Everybody was smiling. And some people don't ever smile on that show. And they were like, you've shot 3 episodes, and this is the first time we've heard this. So then I started doing it, and they died. It was pretty funny. Because they're like, I've heard good arm impressions, but that's him. It's like, oh, okay. So we can get there. You
just surprised the shit out of me. I'm sitting here minding my own business, and then I heard you do.
Oh, really?
Honestly,
okay.
The hell was that?
We're going to film a season 1 episode where there's no cameras, and you're going to do Arnold the whole time. We're going to pretend he's here with us.
He's going to be our guest.
Yeah, he'll be our guest.
And you kind of know him, so that kind of helps. You can.
I mean, there's a lot. It works what I do. So
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's funny stuff.
Yeah.
So growing up in Santa Monica, I mean, your dad was in Hollywood. Did something you wanted to do at a young age, or
I did.
it?
It was tough, really, kind of coming to grips with it because my dad, when I was born, when I was conceived, by that point, he was like a big star. He was an international draw. He was a TV first of its kind. On the cusp of the fitness industry and Hollywood accepting fitness and stuff. So it was very different. So me, when I was younger in grade school and high school, my mom was always in acting class. So she would always bring over these actors that were these younger actors. And I would always only know nothing or the beginning actors and then this Hollywood stardom, right? So it was bridging that gap was different to me because I always saw plays in school. And then I would have, in high school, there would be, my sister was an actress and that was her thing. And so we'd have plays and she'd be vying for the lead in the play and people would be, as drama kids. And I wasn't a drama kid. I was always a jock. I was heavy set. Kids made fun of me for that. And then one day, when I was a sophomore in high school, this girl walks in, she was doing role and skinny, pale, sweet, nice girl. When she walked out and everyone's like, yo, that was Kirsten Dunst. I was like, it's so funny that these people, these actors in high school are so stressed out trying to get the lead of this school play that no one really is going to see. And this girl's a mega international movie star. I'm like, I wanted to go for the top. I wanted to go for that everyone, because I feel like that's where I was. So I wasn't ever there with myself during high school, during college, until I finally kind of knew that was for me. I was never a drama kid. I was never...
but you're an athlete.
I was an athlete.
Definitely pulls you away from it.
Yes, and I was a good enough athlete for people to recognize and kind of push me in that direction for hopefully the next level, college and professional possibly. But injuries happen. It wasn't meant for me, and I think that was God's way of being here, this is your chance to be an actor. Yeah. And then I went back and played at USC and did it again. He's like, told you. Now it's time to be an actor.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. And you played football at USC?
I walked on. So
yeah.
I played in high school, did great. Was all conference, was all league, and but it wasn't in me because I had a devastating injury, and I was fortunate enough to be in life, have this early disappointment and have everything taken away, years of training and practicing and studying and all this, and then just a little tiny ligament in your knee goes, and then it all goes to shit. And I'm like, that's not fair. That sucks. Why do that? So it wasn't in me to really go to the next level. So I was like, I took a couple of years off, went to college, transferred to USC. And when I got there, I was like, fuck this. Fuck this fraternity stuff. I can do this. I can be like those guys. Got myself to 235, running a 4.6, trained for a year straight by myself. Classic story. I went the year before, I was just so dead set on making the team. And I went up to Coach Pete Carroll, the year before. But that year, they ended up going to the national championship against Texas. And I said, hi, Coach Carroll, my name is Lou Ferrigno Jr. I'd like to play for you next season. I'm going to be playing for you next season. He goes, okay. And he was taken aback by that. And little did I know, later on, Tom Brady would say that to Robert Kraft. Very similar story. Did the tryout, classic, walked on. And all these other kids were trying to make a spot on the team. But I was out for blood. I was ready to be, I was a blue chip athlete that they were getting for free. Ended up making the team, played halfway through spring practice, tore my other ACL. They cut me because I was good for nothing. And then I got called in the next day. I was heartbroken, dude. Because I was jacked, I was big, I was fast. And then but I just had this little tiny band in my knee that didn't work. And it was everything. And then he called me in himself and he's like, hey, I want you on this team. And I was hobbled my way in. I was like, well, I can't, I'm hurt. He's like, I don't care. We saw what you could do. We knew what you were capable of. We want you on this team. So I was blessed enough to be kept onto the team, got a Rose Bowl ring. It was awesome. But the business of football is an ugly, ugly business in terms of the damage you take. Stuff I'm feeling now that I can remember where it came from. And I'm like, but now I get paid to be former professional athletes as an actor. So I'm a former, played NCAA Bones as a hockey player, played a baseball player in NCIS LA. I'm like, wow, I could just act like one and say I was in the script, and I was one, minus now I have 2 new ACLs, and but nothing touches my soul and what I my hunger and my thirst and my lust or whatever than the idea of performance and acting and creating a character and engaging in moments and leaving a room completely speechless. Sports is one thing, but you learn early on if you've got what it takes to make it to the next level, and people will kind of around you push you towards that. But I feel like yeah, it's but there's invaluable lessons to be learned with team sports and stuff like that. But it's just no longer a part of what I do and who I am.
Yeah. No, that's pretty awesome stuff. That was probably one of the greatest national championship games ever was Texas USC too.
Yeah, and one of the greatest games ever, and one of, I mean, Vince Young was probably the one, because of those 2 years he played, one of the greatest college football players of all time, if not Tim Tebow, something else like that. So we saw that firsthand. It was incredible. And coming off of that, we had the best linebacking core in the country. We were in a magazine. 8 of the 10 guys went pro. Incredible. Clay Matthews is now on the Rams. He was a defensive player of the year. So, but I just knew I had to make it. I had to tell myself I could do it, and to really distinguish myself from my father, because he was this world champion bodybuilder with this gift of a body. He doesn't have his hearing. He lost his hearing at a young age. So I believe that God was like, here's this massive hulking body physique that can handle the load and just like a miracle, like the type you would want to craft in a store, like Captain America type of stuff, like big. So I don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, it's good. Let me ask this. Yeah. So football ends, and I feel like, because I played college soccer, so I remember like once soccer ended, it was kind of like, well, what do I do now? So football ended. You knew you wanted to be an actor. So where did you go from there? What step did you take?
So similar, the schedule wasn't really conducive, the football schedule, to a theater degree. But at the same time, like, I've done theater. I love theater, but it wasn't. I was in LA. I wanted to be what everyone was going after, which was a movie star, a TV star, a commercial star. Like, I don't know why, but I wanted to go after the most difficult thing. I don't know why. But I started after I had to do another semester, and during that semester I started taking improv at USC, which was like theater improv, kind of like weird games, and it wasn't what I thought it was. It wasn't like other stuff. So then I started taking classes at UCB and Improv Olympic, and that's when I was like, okay, cool. But that's not where really like a real acting career comes in. So then I started taking classes, and because of my name, and because the first thing people see is, you know, their recognizable name, I wanted to be really good. I wanted to be not just some kid that's going to come in with a famous parent and just try to think he's this. So I took a couple of years to really study and train. Even it was hard going out of school and then back into school. But I approached it, and I had respect for it, and I wanted to do it the right way, and I wanted to be good, because I think in life you're most fulfilled and most successful when you are good at something and it is reaffirmed, you know. Not just getting lucky and getting breaks.
Do you think
so? Because
you write too. Do you think you UCB helped with writing?
Absolutely. It's funny because when people would say writing scenes, like I think I'd have to sit there and write, but no, you're just writing in your head. You know, I've seen so many films and watched so many movies and scenarios that now at this point, when I get sides, like, I'm seeing the whole scenario play out. I love performing more than writing. I like writing, but I like to collaborate with someone on something rather than just because ideas are just so good, and they're so, when you're incubating something, it can build from different aspects, and it's so much more gained from collaboration, I feel. But I mean, absolutely, like the UCB stuff, it just taught me how to, especially me being a bigger dude. Like, I'm not like a big dude, but at the same time, like, I have a big presence, so I don't want to be. I had to work on my low status. I had to work on, like,
someone paints you as a woman in a scene, you got to go with
it. Absolutely. I mean, it's funny, and then I still do these little, like, things that I learned, and it's like people die. It's like, because it's the juxtaposition of, you know, keeping them guessing, and I think this business is about just keeping people surprised and keeping people, like, interested. And, you know, when people look down at their phone and you're performing, it's like, whose fault is it? You know what I mean? Is it the person's fault, or is it your fault for being not too compelling? So
yeah. Do you remember your first audition, like for commercial TV? Your first big audition, maybe?
First big audition.
Something that sticks out.
I mean, I went out for movies that I didn't even know what they were. I mean, I'm randomly going a couple. I did Inherent Vice. I did an audition for, which was like 3 years before the movie came out. But all I heard was Paul Thomas Anderson. So it was a big process. But they didn't even know what they wanted. It was so, you know, they're not, those type of movies aren't getting some just random guy going to be hopping in there. Could be, you know, could get lucky. But I mean, I went on a lot of, the first audition I ever went on, God, it was so awkward. It was,
yes, we love awkward on this show.
It was at CAZT, C-A-Z-T.
Oh, God, I hated CAZ. And well, for those of you at home that don't know, CAZ was a studio that flipped it. The casting directors could use the facility at CAZ for free, but the actors, you had to call in CAZ only actors. So as actors, we would pay a membership fee, but we'd be guaranteed to be. They were the only list calling in at the user facility. So that was the the scheme there. But and they also left feedback, which is very interesting for people.
Which is huge.
They had to leave feedback on your audition after you left, and you could obviously tell after a while they were just literally copy and pasting. Great job.
Yeah.
Good spirit.
Yeah.
Great energy. But I was like,
Yeah.
those 2 words. Tell me more. I'm needy.
And you can sometimes they would post the video of it, and then it was just like, you know, you walk out of it being like, okay, I did well, and you look at it, you're like,
fuck.
eye lines are all over the place. I mean, I can't remember the first big audition on something like that I recognized, but it was all a lot of stuff that was.
Well, what happened at Gas?
Oh God, I booked a few things that never went anywhere. You know, I don't necessarily want to talk about it.
Okay, fair enough.
It was. I had to say some things that I wasn't proud of, and it was in the script though. I was doing my job, you know, and it just didn't go well, and the person didn't know what they were doing, and I was just like so not prepared, and I thought my charm and like my sweet like attitude would take me through, and it was so not that, because when you enter the room, all your plans go to shit because whatever could be different, you know, like. So
I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like when you walk in and you're charming and nice, they're like, yeah, that's great, but can you?
I mean, for a commercial,
commercial people try and overdo it. Hi, how are you guys?
True.
What's going on? How are you? No. Just,
that's true.
Can you do it? We got a lot of people to see.
Yeah, I think your brain plays a trick on you. Like you make you think that it was better than it was, and then when you have the feedback and you see it, it's just like, and then you wonder why I haven't been booking in the first 2, 3, 4 years of my career. Why? Well, it's because you're just not good yet. Like you have to do something well to be good at it, and you have to do something a lot to be doing something well, you know? And it's just, and really doing it shittily is the best way to really learn. So.
And have people tell you you're doing it shittily versus being surrounded by people like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And being really brutally honest is not even being shittily, because I've been very fortunate where people aren't being like mean, because I commit. Whenever I perform, whenever I audition, I commit. And it's always entertaining to see someone believing what they're doing, whether it's completely off or not. So I've never really heard any mean-spirited things about my stuff, but I don't know. Still, career's not over yet.
Yeah, but well, yeah, fair enough. You haven't read the Twitter people.
Yeah, ruthless.
Yeah, don't ever read that shit. But anyway, yes. Now I forgot what I was talking about. Good.
Me too. Cool.
Good comment. Great comment. We're doing a great job here.
But another thing, like I'd hear when I was young, I'd hear my parents fighting in the next room, and I'm like, oh my God. And then it turns out they'd walk in and they're holding sides, and they were doing sides with each other and running lines. And this would happen my whole life. So I always had this wondering like eye of like, why, what does it happen? Like why, what's happening here? I don't know. And my dad was being like handed roles to movies that were like, you know, Return to Frogtown 2, and he also did the Hulk, like the movies that were in the 80s that were awesome. But I mean, you know, it was at that point, it was his character. He was in the groove. So it was different coming on as being like a full-blown actor, because I'm like, wow, this is going to go very different for me than it was for him. Because I making my way up as an actor that is attempting to go up and do something better or as comparably as other acters. And
did you prefer that, or were you all about, I'm okay with nepotism flying at me?
No, I'm all about it. I've always kind of erred towards doing things the tougher way, but like it's funny because I see things and I'm quick to judge as well sometimes when it comes to celebrity kids. But there hasn't really been one instance that's really helped me directly, because nepotism doesn't exist really on the talent side. Like you can it's between the public and the talent. Like if you look, for instance, look at Frank Sinatra. Love him, right? Talented, great. Look at Frank Sinatra Jr. He sings all of Frank Sinatra's songs. He sounds just like him, but he's not Frank Sinatra. It's cute. Yeah. But just like an actor, like I think if your dad's maybe a director, producer, has a lot of money, that's powerful in this business, then it can happen. But still, the public's not going to like you if they don't like you. You know what I mean? You have to develop that rapport with the public in order to be good on the talent side. Michael Douglas and Kurt, his brother, his father. Michael Douglas made his way. You know, so it's a little different. Now
that's interesting, because I do feel like nepotism could definitely get you in some doors you probably couldn't have, but you still have to do it. You still have to book it.
Yes.
You still have to nail it.
Yes. I think people, there have been times when I think people have been excited because of my name and I come in and it's that, but it's just that, you know, like it's never, no one's risking their own job on a job because of my name. If I'm terrible, which, you know, a lot of times I had a couple casting directors like basically tell me how they just saw this person's son and this person's son. Like, why are you any different? And I'm like, okay. Well, I'll show you.
Watch this motherfucker.
Yeah, I said that. I was like, whatever happens here, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
And then I ended up booking it. It was for a Nickelodeon show.
Nice.
Hey.
That's cool. I guess that leads me to my next question, and the last time we'll talk about this. Do you hate Mark Ruffalo and Edward Norton for taking the Hulk roles?
Well, they took the Bruce Banner roles. There's only been one person to ever play the Hulk, my friend Robby D.
Fair enough.
There's only one Hulk that can sign autographs, and that's not changing anytime soon. So, no, they can be fine. They can do their thing, but there's only one Hulk, and that's Lou Ferrigno.
Fucking love that answer.
It's just funny. It's like they're saying Mark Ruffalo is this. No, Mark Ruffalo plays Bruce Banner. And yeah, they're factoring in some like his face and his voice. He's doing none of that stuff physically. He did nothing for his body to build up to look like the Hulk.
If anything, he did it the other direction to look more.
Exactly. So he gets credit for 2 roles. And that's not the case. Like, my father was the Incredible Hulk, and he played it in a way such that made him an international like treasure. Like an American treasure. And still to this day, people talk to me about the Hulk and love the Hulk because he chose, whether he was an actor or decided to be an actor or not, he chose to play it in a way that was tender and sweet, not just, you know, like you would think a Hulk would be destruction. But it was those tender moments that he had because he loved Frankenstein. He loved that. But that's who he is as a person. He's tender in his heart. So it's when he played this massive hulking dude, for lack of a better adjective, he found that juxtaposition which worked truthfully, and that's why it was such a success.
Nice.
Yeah.
That could be one of the best answers we've ever had to a question on this show.
Yeah, don't be fooled, man.
Not only was it a great answer, but you 100% put me right in my fucking place.
Amen, brother.
And
The show needs more of that.
I agree to disagree there. Cool. So, acting side, obviously you got that master, but you're also an artiste.
I'm learning. I'm an artist.
I've seen your stuff on the Instagram. It's pretty cool.
Thank you. I'm a pop surreal artist. That's what I call it.
Okay.
It's something that just comes out of me, like you were saying earlier. Like, I can't help it. It has to come out at a certain time. Like, it's funny. Like, in terms of acting, like, if someone's like, should I be an actor? I don't know. If you can't not do it, do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just do it fully. Because I used to be like, when I was, partying more, either in like college or after college, like I would like have a good time, but I would be mostly entertaining people, doing impressions, doing accents. And then someone's like, why don't you should be on a show. And then I was like, why am I here at 3 a.m. with these people at their weird house in their closet? Like, why am I here? Why aren't I not doing this? But it takes a lot of balls and grit to get up in front of people you don't know and spill your soul.
It's scary to take risks too. Mm-hmm. It's people who take risks.
It's really not that big of a risk. It's so funny.
It's not. But sometimes when you're in the moment, you're like, oh, they're not. Yeah, you judge yourself. Mm-hmm. People who take risks are usually the ones that book the job, or at least they get a redo. It's like, you know what, that didn't work at all, but we love what you tried to do.
Yep.
So let's just try it again and do it more like this, please.
Totally.
Okay. But at least it makes you more memorable.
Mm-hmm.
So did you come up with the term pop surreal artist?
Yeah, I kind of just put it together because I wanted to. So when I tore my ACL in college, I went through like a really deep depression because it was like the second time. Why me? I got to go through another 6 months of rehab for to walk again. And then I started smoking some weed, started smoking a lot of weed all the time. And then I was like, I'm just not happy. But I always have these ideas and sketch. And I was like, I'm going to paint. I never wanted to paint, but I always liked to sketch. I was very resistant to a lot of things growing up. It was weird. But it was always things that I like. I don't know. It's just how kids are, I suppose.
I think teenagers in general, yeah.
So I got some I was like, what's the easiest way to paint? They're like, acrylic. So it's water-based, easy. So I got some acrylic, did this, kind of flowed with it, and I felt better. I felt better just kind of getting it out, right? And then it turned into, after college, it was during the Great Recession, no jobs. So I was like, all right, I got to train, and then I got to just paint. And I started painting ideas and then concepts and then sketching and then putting an actual thing up. And then now it's kind of turned into this very hard line, colorful, very enigmatic imagery that I like to kind of showcase moments in life at which we have either a transition or a catharsis for like whatever is to come forward. Like I like those moments of like the idea that pride comes before the fall. Like there's a moment you realize, oh shit, I like to capture that moment. And using animals, using the body, using color. So I don't know. I just called it pop surreal because it's poppy, and it's also not. It's surreal, I would say.
I mean,
It's pop surreal, Robby. What is that?
it's genius. I
All
love
right.
it.
Oh, thanks, man.
I mean, you had the great answer to the last question, and now we've had a guest who's come up with his own genre of art. I mean,
Yeah.
this is fantastic stuff over here. You want to plug your Instagram for that art?
Yeah, my Ferrigno_art is my art Instagram. I'm working right now on building a store where people can share my art and have prints and all that good stuff. But as an artist, doing the business stuff is very challenging. It's like learning another language. But yeah, mostly stuff on that specifically. Ferrigno_art is kind of where it's going to go.
Well, we need to buy one. Put right here.
It's cool,
For
man.
the show, tape it right above
Yeah.
producer Will's head.
I want the gorilla with the in the middle
fuck,
of the waves
yeah,
with
dude.
the lightning. Baby.
I just did it, and
love that.
really cool because it's like I did that Instagram, and I finally just put it up, and then one of the art writers for SWAT knew that I painted, and so in one of the episodes, my boss, he's the 50 David, and I'm 51 David, and I will now take his job as 50 David. There's like a going away, and she's like, "Hey, do you want to have one of your pieces?" I was gonna have Rocker give Mumford a painting, and I was like, "Okay, cool." She's like, "Do you want to do a painting, like a picture portrait of him?" And I don't do portraits, and I was like, "Okay, I'll do it." And I was like, I could either say no because I don't do portraits, or say screw it, I'll do a painting, and I'm just gonna come out how it comes out. So there's a piece that I posted on, and it's an eagle, because usually I start with an animal and I go from there. And it's an eagle, because the SWAT logo is an eagle with carrying a lightning bolt. So I put an eagle, I put 50 David and a skyline of LA with some lightning, and they loved it. And they were like, "We didn't know you could do this." We're like, "We didn't know." They were expecting like people say, "Oh yeah, you paint." It's like, "Oh yeah, cool." It's like, no, actually, like my stuff is actually, I think it's pretty good. And so they told me after at the wrap party, one of the producers was like, we didn't expect much from you, but we were so surprised when we saw that I've never seen anything like it. And that's what makes me feel good. It's like something you've never seen before. So they put it in national television on CBS, and my painting was right there. I was like, pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and share with you a term I coined today. Very proud of it. Me and you are Eskisho brothers. So that was on SWAT too.
Okay.
I'm very proud of that
Love it.
term and the fact, because you just mentioned SWAT. So
Your performance was fantastic, by the way.
I had one line that was said off screen, but I was in it a bunch.
They need to bring you back.
There needs to be more murder so I can film them. But you actually play a pretty significant role. 20 episode.
So there's
officer.
There's the main squad. So Shamar is Hondo. He's 20 David, and then from there on it's 21 David, 22 David. And that's the main squad. The second squad is 50 David, my boss. I'm 51 David, and so on and so forth. So now in this third season, which we just got picked up for a third season.
I was going to mention that. What's up?
Give that one. In one of the last episodes of this season, he basically said he's excited for Donovan Rocker to take his place. So who knows what's going to happen, but I do have a more substantial role as a team leader on the show.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic news.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience because I went in initially so I was working on NCIS LA with LL Cool J, Todd Smith. And he was on SWAT, the show SWAT. And I had met Shamar at a party at his house one time, 8 years prior. And he was just super cool and nice. And I was like, I always had an idea for SWAT, and they were making it a series. And I was like, it was weird. I had a feeling about it. And I was working with LL Cool J. He was on SWAT. And then a SWAT audition comes up. And I'm like, and then at the time I was like, I had this big, awesome role on NCIS LA. And I was like, you know what? I need to get my rest. I have this audition. And then I was like, I don't have a job after this, man. It feels good in the moment, but it's a guest star. So I buckled down, did the audition as Luca, one of the regulars.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. So it was all good. And then 2 weeks later, they were like, hey, you got an audition for SWAT. I was like, yeah, but I already went in there. They're like, no, there's a new role. And then that's when I was like, you have to understand the common sense and the facts of the nature of the situation, right? So they bring me in again. They like me. They've seen what I can do. Not for that role. Went in for a one line co-star for this rocker character that I guess they wrote in. And it was interesting because Mumford makes a joke, and it was like, oh, to Hondo, like, hey, what are you going to be doing? You're going to be you're going to be doing your job, or you're going to be swinging across the city like Spider-Man. And all my line was, it said in parentheses, wingman laugh, and then Spider-Man. So however I was going to say this one line was going to make the difference. And it just comes down to like having a truthful thought. And so I thought to myself, and I always kind of, when the way I laugh, when naturally someone says something, I'm like, ha! This is funny, you know what I mean? Like I've always done that, and it's always like got a response, and I'm like, I'll just do that. So then, you know, I took my moment and I said it, and I just look at him and just Spider-Man. Like he's just like, you know, you son of a bitch. And then they loved it. And they're like, you had one line and you made us laugh. And that little co-star that I turned out, if it did go to series, they would make it maybe a guest star, no promises, is now I'm like the leader on the other team. Yeah. And there's there's even, speaking on Twitter, like on Instagram, someone will say like a negative comment, which is kind of, I think, the point that when you like kind of are doing well. You know, all the comments have been so nice recently, and I'm like, when is it gonna get like nasty?
Once you get a hater, you made it.
Yeah, exactly. So then finally, like,
so death threat. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I got a death threat.
Yeah, man. I mean, like everything's so nice and cheery. I'm like, nah, something's wrong here. So then some guy will say some like rude stuff, and then like there'll be like 3 or 4 awesome followers of mine that will like jump on him and be like, why would you say that? What's the matter with you? What are you doing? I'm like, get them, girls. You know what I mean? So it's cool. The shirtless shots don't hurt. You know, they like that. But yeah, it's cool, and it's really the opportunities and everything that's happened to be on screen has been really cool for this show. So yeah, lucky to be a part of it. You too, my friend.
Yeah. You know, I got a residual check. What's up?
Hell yeah, man.
2 questions. One, Will, do you know what LL means in LL Cool J?
Lex Luthor.
No. Ladies love Cool James.
Is that really true?
That's it.
That is so fucking cool.
Yeah,
what
ladies
cool
love Cool
dude.
James.
And,
yeah, I mean, dude. Cool J
God.
has gone from what, the mid '80s to now. Like he was on In the House, series, TV films, studio films.
Let's talk about his role in the greatest shark movie ever made.
Which one?
Deep Blue Sea.
Great film.
I just said the greatest shark movie ever made. There's only one.
I thought you were talking about Sharknado 4.
No. First of all, Sharknado 4 is good, but not the best Sharknado. Arguably one of the worst.
Oh,
My dad got eaten by a shark in Sharknado 3.
I was gonna say, I think he was
Really?
in the third one.
I
know my Sharknado's voice.
Met Mark Cuban, who was president, and it was him and Rick Fox were his bodyguards, and then a shark comes out of nowhere and eats him. It was so weird. It's funny though, because I'm like Ann Coulter was on it, and all these people that are just like plopped into this film. And I always thought to myself, like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to be in real pictures that are, you know, some people that do whatever hands like to them and stuff. Like, I always want to do something like, it's fun, it's great, you know, it's a paycheck, awesome. But at the same time, it's like these movies, they get to a point where it's just like, let's see what else they'll believe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was a part of that franchise, and it's been great.
They're time traveling now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in the last one, they're now doing a whole time travel dynamic. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
They did one in space. I think in the last one they had Fabio playing a pope who gives like the main dude a holy God-given shark weapon.
No way.
It gets real.
I hung out with Fabio one day. He's a nice guy. He's beautiful in person and very nice. I thought he was gonna be a douche, but we ended up taking pictures.
He seems like he could be like really nice,
like
your buddy, like hey, how's it going?
Italian, he talks like this. I'm like, Fabio. We were at where were we? Boulevard 3, and he was just super, and he was surrounded by beautiful women. Like this guy, the joke is real. Like it's real. Like this guy is the real deal. And still. You saw him get whacked in the face with a bird, did you?
Me? No.
Oh man, he was on a roller coaster, and they were doing some like press thing, and a duck flies by, and while they're going down, and a duck smashes his face. It's on the internet, and blood everywhere, kills the duck.
Keep talking.
Yeah, and that was like a big. I think that he took a kind of PR hit, but nice guy. Can't believe it's not bad. Dude. I can't believe it's not bad.
Oh, his face is bleeding.
Oh yeah, crushed his nose, dude.
We might have to watch this. For those of you who are watching the clip now, and
amazing.
Yeah,
this is pretty awesome. Well, this is taking forever, but here we go. it's when you met him pre this.
No, met him like 2 years ago. Yeah, and this was I think 10 years ago.
Did you bring up the video? Were you asking how his face
I
was?
did. No, we talked about it. Yeah, he was like, he goes, this duck. Yeah, he did it. I can't remember what we said. We were drinking a little bit, but he was it was so funny. He talks about it freely, and I was like, I respect that.
Yeah.
You know.
I love the fact that like only in California could you get a PR hit for an animal flying into your face. It's not like Fabio's like, okay, I'm going down, release the ducks, I'm ready to kill them.
Do you remember when Randy Johnson hit the bird with his fastball?
Yeah.
He got fined $500 because they had to
Really?
do it because they didn't want PETA or anyone coming out and saying
I mean,
we fined him money for killing the bird.
I don't mind them finding him as long as he didn't get like in actual trouble, you know? 'Cause
Yeah.
it's
No,
like,
well, they did that just to preempt.
Yeah,
this.
just
So
to
it's like,
get
well,
out,
you killed the
'cause it's
bird,
like,
so we're gonna fine you.
hey Randy, we're gonna fine you $500. Also, here's a $600 bonus. For, like,
Yeah, I feel like that was like one of like a weird point in human history. Like that, the two things, like the sheer physics of that happening and like the chances is like unreal that it
crazy.
happened, and it happened. The thing exploded.
What are the fucking
Yo,
odds?
dude, the little bird did
Little feathers.
Everyone's just like, what? Because he's throwing heat, dude, like 98 miles an hour, and poor bird didn't even see it coming.
No.
At least, although I'm going to be eliminated by a fastball, I want it to be a Randy Johnson fastball.
Yeah, that's a way to go out. For sure.
A weird point in human history is when Abraham Lincoln gets eaten by Sharknado 6 flying by.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, that's
be
possible.
great. It's
Anything, they're
100%.
time traveling.
Okay,
4
Anything's on the
scores and 7.
nice. Yeah, there was a shark attack on the freeway in 911. The shark attacks are
Yeah,
positive.
you did 911.
Pleasant. Yeah, 911
another
has been
cop.
great. Yeah, a firefighter.
Firefighter.
actually.
Firefighter. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Firefighter, cop, detective, SWAT. You know, it's kind of my wheelhouse. So,
Well, you also played a Navy officer in a commercial, right? You're the Army. Yeah.
Navy pilot.
Navy pilot. that's it.
Hey, go Navy.
Yeah,
That's
nice,
what's up.
Look at the
nice.
Navy
Yeah, I
shirt
was. I caught a little bit of heat for that because I was not in the armed forces. But people, and I don't think now. I think they have to hire people that are for that. But they're like, he did the best job.
I have an interesting story about that. I'm not sure if I can say it on the air. I'll tell you afterward.
Okay. I'll be waiting.
It's a good one.
Okay.
Wait, but what happened on 911? You were responding to a call of a shark attack?
No, this was the first episode I think of this season, second season. Yeah, they're coming halfway through. No, there's a shark on the freeway. I think it got out of a tank, and it like bounced out on the freeway and it bit somebody. But it actually, I guess it actually happened. And I don't want all the stuff that they bring up as like real stuff that's happened. They found on YouTube.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. We had one guy. He got a air pump from a gas station stuck in his quad, and it filled his whole body up with air, and he was just like, and it actually like this happens.
How does,
Crazy.
They're not even sharp. How do you get it?
I
in
feel
your
like
leg?
I feel like that's a sexual thing gone wrong. You know,
it could
like
be.
he's like, I want to inflate myself. And
Yeah,
like, you know,
that's-
he lost it, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I can't see, I can't turn it off.
Yeah, but where did he put it? His butt?
I mean, there's a lot. I mean,
How does the
he
air
said
get into your
thigh.
body?
I
All right,
think
that's what
it goes under on thigh, but pierces the skin,
Yeah,
and
once
then it
gets
goes
under
underneath the skin.
Yeah, a little.
You know,
Like, I know it's crazy to you, but a little nick where somebody puts an air nozzle in, like, there are all sorts of weird things. That doesn't
Yeah.
seem that crazy to me.
I mean, I can't even fill up a tire when I'm supposed to. It keeps spraying out the side and shit. I couldn't imagine actually.
I mean, it was on the internet, so there's a good chance that it's true.
it's got to be true.
You know,
Everyone knows it's all real. Okay?
yeah,
It's on the internet. It's got to be true.
yeah.
Well, remember when the guy, Christmas Day 3 years ago, the guy got in a car wreck and got thrown into the overhead sign? And then Deadpool came out, and Deadpool, the opening scene, the guy gets tossed in the overhead sign and falls down.
What?
That
That's
happened
real?
here
Oh, I didn't know
over
that.
on the 5.
How
Like,
do you get tossed that high?
he was speeding and took a turn, and the car tumbled, and it just ejected him, and he smashed in the sign. And he stayed up there. He hit and fell on a light and got stuck, and they had to put a.
Wow.
Then they're showing the aerial view, and the cops had to put a sheet over
way.
him, hanging on the freaking
Jeez,
side.
I didn't know that.
And then Deadpool came out, and they ripped that off, and I remember seeing that. I was like,
Interesting.
That really happened.
I remember that part, and he turned into mush. It's like,
And then later it falls. It falls down.
Yeah,
at a
it
very,
splats and
very
falls.
comedic timing.
it's good.
Great movie. Although you guys might not know this, but Deadpool's not Marvel. It's Fox.
That's true. That's
Well, actually,
true.
you're wrong. It was just.
It's gonna be
no,
Marvel.
it already is. The merger went through.
So they merged everything. So Venom.
So X-Men's now in it. You know?
Okay.
So this isn't any Endgame spoilers, but now they're kind of set up the world. So now X-Men, there's a hole where X-Men can come in and enter. They can bring in Deadpool,
Venom?
Fantastic Four. Venom is as well.
Okay.
But the Venom movie with Tom Hardy was functioning under a different contract. So that I'm not sure of if they're going to be able to
Interesting.
bring it in, because I know and like the people who made the Venom movie were very specific that they're not referencing the Spider-Man. Like it's supposed to be like set. That's why he wasn't in it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about that one, but now we can bring in Fantastic Four,
Interesting.
Deadpool, X-Men.
I heard that the Hulk rights are tied up with Universal, so we're probably not going to see another standalone film.
That is true because, and I know that's true also because they have the rights for the Hulk ride in Universal Studios Florida, which is one of my top 10 roller coasters. Have you been on it?
No.
Oh, you should go. It's one of the ones where you like sit in the cannon and then the Hulk's like, I'm kidding. Bruce Banner actually's like, oh man, I'm kidding. And it shoots you out like from darkness into the sun, and it's like a bright green electric coaster right away, and the music starts going, and you're going up, and it's pretty awesome. It's a great roller coaster.
Actually, I do want to go now.
Yeah, no, it's pretty sweet.
Nice. Pretty awesome.
Explosive.
No, very great opening. I love it. I love it like Cedar Point in Sandusky, where you go from 0 to 120 in the Top Thrill dragster. I like ones that go right away. That start was like click, 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 click. I'm like, no, bring the thrills. You know?
Nice. Enough with the clicking. Get me over the hill already.
Nice.
That's pretty awesome. I was excited to share my knowledge that I heard somewhere.
Yeah. Did you like Deadpool 2?
Yes.
You did? How did you think about Brolin?
Yes.
Brolin's great.
He's great and everything.
He's awesome.
His
really
best work is Goonies.
Yeah. It's a good. I mean, he's a classic film, dude. He got in. He trained with one of my best friends. He's for the film. I met him randomly on Main Street in Venice. He was like petting a dog, and I was like, "That's Josh Brolin. I have to say hi to Josh Brolin." I was like, "Hey, Josh, how you doing?" He's like, "Hey, man." I acted as if he knew me forever, and we just talked and we hung out for like a good 5 minutes.
You didn't know him before that?
Never met him. And I was like, I just love this guy's work. I gotta say hi to him, and I figured he'd be cool. I didn't really think about it too much. I kind of just did it, and I'm kind of like, when I see people I recognize, I'm not the one to go up to him, but I'm like, love it. And he turned out to be a great guy. Was training for my buddy for that film, and his physique in that film is one you don't really see anymore. I mean, a lot of the guys he was very lean for that role. And it was really cool because Cable is a bad dude. And I mean, for him to do it the way he did it was awesome.
Yeah.
So
I thought he was an excellent Cable.
Yeah, it was awesome. Scary, but also like cool and like funny, and like still has that like kind of Drax, like kind of like that thing.
No,
you know?
it was I think he did just as good of a job with Cable as he did with Thanos. Like, I thought he was an amazing Cable. Yeah. Perfect.
Who'd you like? It's funny how it both hit at the same time, because Thanos was great.
Yeah. I like the Deadpool jokes, too, where they're ripping on Cable.
I didn't see Endgame, so did you just ruin it
for me? No. Like, in Deadpool 2, they made fun of him for being Thanos. Because he's played Thanos since... which is the first time you see him. I think.
Guardians, right? Or something like that at the end of it?
You see him in Guardians, but I also think you see him in the end credit sequence of the first Avengers. Like he turns and he smiles. He's on his throne.
Yes.
And that one he looked a little rough, but he's been playing Thanos since.
Yeah, he did that, and then they showed him, I think, in Guardians.
Yeah, in Guardians, they have a scene where he's talking in Guardians.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with X-Men, because X-Men, I mean, the property is just amazing. It's my favorite growing up, and I mean, they need a new Wolverine.
I'm most excited for Fantastic Four, personally, because those have been some of the coolest heroes, like in comic books, and their big screen adaptations have been flawed. Not necessarily, like, they get a lot of hate, like especially the Miles Teller one, but none of them have been that bad.
Well, that movie was
rough, but
the first set of them was pretty.
First
good.
set of them was fun. It was really fun. Where Captain America's playing Johnny Storm, you know?
Yeah, I think I thought he was great at that, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I feel like he was perfect for Johnny Storm. Captain America, got into it. He was good. I mean, I feel like that there's someone. I always revert to to Dolph Lundgren. He was like the perfect like superhero-esque, like he was like who was he? Punisher.
Punisher. Right? Yeah. Dolph Lundgren was Punisher in Punisher War Games. The second one. After what's his face? Who was in the first one? Name I'm completely blanking.
Tom Jane.
Tom Jane. Thank you. Tom Jane.
Yeah.
Tom Jane also did that awesome Punisher short film, Dirty Laundry.
Ooh, I got a good a positive Chris Evans story.
Oh,
I was a bartender at the very first Captain America, very first one. Jeez, what was that? What year is that? 2011.
The first Avenger.
Very first Captain America. So
it's called Captain America.
Captain America.
Gotcha.
Avenger,
2011.
It's my bad.
Don't worry about it.
I just only know Deadpool. And he went around to every bartender and gave each one of them $500 cash for working the premiere of it.
That's
like,
cool.
Here, guys. Because apparently he just was like used to bartender or whatever.
That's cool.
So he walked
no
around.
way. Captain America, baby.
We hated working those premieres because it's a flat rate party fee, and,
Sure.
and people are told not to tip. Like don't tip. So it's just you work this stupid party for 4 hours and it sucks, and you don't make any money. And he's like, yeah, you gave everyone.
Are you told to not talk to anybody? Talk to talent or anything like that? Or is it kind of just like?
I think it's kind of understood.
Okay.
But at the same time, I've worked events where everyone likes to be told that they're like,
awesome.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So especially at that event where they're in public for this event.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's crazy because like you're an actor trying to be successful, and then you go to this, you're working this massive like the job of your dreams, and you're just during the show it's like you're looking outside and kind of seeing what it's like. It's not like you're just you cater for a living. So it's got to be painful to see that firsthand.
yeah.
In a sense.
That's my positive Chris Evans.
That's
story.
nice. I've heard good
legend.
things. I've heard good things. I also heard that he got paid $160,000. I read this in an article. It may not be true. It was on the internet, so it probably is. He got paid $160,000 for the Winter Soldier, which would have been his second Captain America. So he had already established himself as a role and the lead in a sequel. $160K, and then for Endgame he got $8 million, which is quite a disparity because at this point, they're like, oh, the biggest opening ever. It's like, well, yeah, you had $1 billion to spend on it. Of course it's going to be the biggest film ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the movie's just so draped in just ostentation and just effects and big names and sets. And it's like they went all in and, they could. So.
It's gonna beat Avatar if it hasn't already.
Really? Well,
it's because it made over $2 billion.
He's coming out with 3 more Avatars, James Cameron's.
4.
4 more?
4 more. Although they did just get they did release the schedule. I think they got pushed a couple months because it's coming. I want to say December of 2020 is when Avatar 2 is going to drop because they're taking a break from Star Wars, like the yearly releases of Star Wars after this one. There'll still be some more. Disney just released the slate 2 days ago, and I read through them all. Wow. We're gonna get a bunch more MCU. None of them are titled. For those who are waiting, and this is all spoiler free for Endgame. Don't worry.
The New Mutants.
Yeah, we'll get New Mutants got delayed again. Though.
Really?
Yeah, it got pushed again.
The Inhumans, I heard, is another one. Marvel.
I think didn't they do that TV though? Or are they doing that for movies?
Yeah, they did. I think it just got canceled.
Yeah, they did that because I remember Ramsay Bolton from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Played Mad Max, who's one of my favorite Inhumans. But
yes.
I haven't seen the show yet.
Well, that's why you can watch Stargirl, the new DC show,
2020.
one of the series. And it's funny, I can't really say that I could picture someone better because your boy is Our Man. I'm actually Rex Tyler.
Yeah. Wait, if I may, Stargirl 2020. Lou Ferrigno Jr. is Rex Tyler, Our Man. That's it.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so is there someone better to play Our Man? Probably, but I was the best guy on the day that they got the job. So I'm excited. I totally believe that I'm Our Man. Mm-hmm. And when we get down to it, I'm leaving for Atlanta on Monday. And I've been back and forth. Already shot 1 episode.
What explain to us who is Our Man?
So
that's
I'll break it down
knowledge,
for
at
you.
least.
So the show's called Stargirl. Mm-hmm. It's about this girl who discovers that her stepdad was the assistant to a superhero. That superhero's name was Starman. Starman was a member of the JSA, the Justice Society of America. So in this show, there's 4 founding members, but there's actually more. The 4 founding members are Wildcat, Dr. Midnight, Starman, and yours truly, Our Man. So basically, in real life, DC came up with the JSA and all these characters years and years before they came up with Superman and everything. And then due to publishing issues and whatever happened, they kind of just fell by the wayside. And then they started focusing on Flash, Green Lantern, Superman, Batman. The ones we more know commonly as the DC characters. So there's only been one quick portrayal of Our Man on TV, and it was just this guy that came out and he's like, I'm Our Man, but it was no suit. This is a full-blown suit. So basically there's these good group of superheroes that they're defenders of society and all this stuff. My character in particular his name is Rex Tyler. He's a chemist, and he creates this drug called Miraclo. And Miraclo gives him, he actually changed it because it could give him unlimited strength, power, agility, strength for everything. And then he didn't want to get addicted to it, which he eventually does. He addicted to fighting crime, saving lives, and also the power that it gives you. So he toned it down to 1 hour a day. So for 1 hour, he pops his pill, turns his hourglass, and for that 60 minutes, he can have unlimited strength, ability, speed, all that. And in the show, I mean, you get to see these characters, these 4 JSA members, and the Justice League, which was Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all that. They actually look up to the Justice Society of America. So it's very well known that these characters have been around. They're a property that has been around, not just a new idea. But also, I'd read further, and this drug Miraclo was actually something that I read that Batman was taking while he was training early on, and it's also the chemical that Bane pumps into his veins when he gets all jacked up.
It's the flower that who's the Ra's al Ghul's people? Like the Legion of Doom.
Yes.
Or Legion, you know who I'm
Shadows.
talking about.
Yes.
So it's
The
based
League
off
of
that.
Shadows.
League
I
of
don't-
Shadows.
I don't know. I mean, it may not be League of Shadows. Yes, very good. It was. I don't know because I read somewhere, but they did the flower thing in the film, so it may have been different. But I know for sure it was the Bane chemical because you never know what that is. But so there's a significance in this chemical that he created through the DC universe. So it's a very it's a pivotal character in terms of a superhero. He's a classic superhero with a cape. And they got a face on. I would show you the picture of him now, but I can't because I get sued.
Yep.
I'll tell you this though. Hands down, the best superhero of all time to do an impression of is probably Bane. It's the easiest, and it makes the most sense.
Super villain.
Super villain. Sorry, I did say hero. Sorry.
How'd you feel about Tom Hardy's Bane?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Nolan. You can't go wrong with any Nolan film.
Yeah.
And I mean, he did exactly what he was supposed to do.
But do you remember the Bane in Batman and Robin?
Oh yeah.
Jeep Swenson? Dude, he was a monster. He was like 400 pounds.
I'd say that if we could have put Tom Hardy's like personality acting inside that Hulk's body,
Yeah.
it would have been perfect. Because like that, again, you're right. My biggest complaint about the Hardy Bane is that like he was a force of nature, but he looked less jacked than even Ben Affleck and Batfleck.
Yeah.
You know, like Batfleck looked like a
Batfleck.
fucking tank,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
That's how I imagine my Batman is literally like, if you see him coming, like you could shoot a gun at him, and even if you hit him, the bullet's gonna crumple against his fucking bat body.
Yeah.
He's a fucking wall.
When he took that helmet off, the cowl, he looked so good with the hair, and he's got that chin. And
I
he's
think
like, but when he put the face on, it's like squishy because he's not lean. You know what I mean? And
But then Bane, I think, could have been just
Do you
bigger.
think your money gives you power over
yeah,
me?
it was good. I mean, it was good. I mean, that's what you'd much rather see a great actor portraying a role rather than someone who fits the specs perfectly who can't act. You know, so it's like so you know, like Brandon Routh looked like Superman, but the movie didn't do so well. You know, so
Yeah.
I might be on the minority, but I do feel that same way about Cavill and his Superman portrayal.
what about
I thought he looked like Superman, but I hated that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I see Christopher Reeves is like 6'4". That's Superman, but
Yeah.
he's a stunningly handsome man, Henry Cavill. So I think people.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. He
forget.
looks exactly like he's supposed
So,
to.
yeah.
And
I think it's
I read that thing that they shot all of his shirtless scenes the first 2 weeks because he worked out so hard, and once they started filming, he couldn't keep that up. So they shot the first 2 weeks. They shot everything with his shirt off, and then they went to film the rest of it. And like that night, after they wrapped for all the shirtless scenes, they had like a giant pizza and beer party because he had
Nice.
been eating shit for
Nice.
or healthy stuff for.
Well, it's interesting because it's like because there's times when I'm like, really, like I want to like get to Superman could be a little more, but is it him choosing to play Superman as an alien? He is like kind of not really human, being able to connect, or is it him just being blank? Like is it what is it? Is he trying to do that? Because Superman's kind of like I picture him as nice and like kind of there, but like not like a little not plastic. Like there's times when he's plastic, and I'm like, eh.
I think that's been the biggest problem with like just Superman as a whole is that like it's tough to write, and like it's when you read the comics, my favorite Superman comics are never when Superman's just being Superman. Like my favorite Superman comic is Red Sun, where Superman crashed in Russia,
Yeah.
and it's like this fake story about like what if the Russians had Superman and we did,
Yeah.
and it's fucking awesome, Like
Yeah.
I think Superman's just too perfect.
They
to
hit
make,
it
like
out
a
of the park, yeah.
really good and like Henry Cavill can do the best job he can, but at the end of the day, it's like. You're supposed to be a perfect human, and that's not compelling
Yeah.
to watch.
No.
Batman, it's like, I have flaws, I
Yeah,
cry.
I know.
Oh,
That's why all the X-Men, it's fascinating because they're all pained with this curse and blessing. But like Superman's like, you nailed it, out of the park. Like like what? You got a little rock, a little gas that like puts you down. Like, come on, really?
Why did you say that name?
I must retire to my fortress of solitude.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it'd be hard to write jokes for Superman because what are you gonna like Thor Ragnarok? They went funny with it, but there was like
Yeah.
you could do it with him. I
Yeah.
just don't feel like Superman's gonna do any?
I mean, there's no. I mean, you have the idea of the Viking and like what is it they say, like all these, whatever they cheers and they drink and stuff. But like Superman, what does he do? Like he just he just saves the day and he's just and honest and righteous. Like that's it. Like
That's
Not in my superhero. Not anymore. I
like a
flaws.
little grit in my superhero.
So that's why for an
We need
hour a day,
flaws.
HOURMAN has this whole dimension of drug addiction and all this stuff, but he's technically Superman for an hour. So it's like you get the best of both worlds. So tune in.
I'm excited.
Let me ask you this. Going back to what you said about something from earlier when you had a thought with your Spider-Man comment and made the room laugh for your SWAT audition. When you're auditioning for HOURMAN, obviously you're pretty strong, but you don't have unlimited strength. You don't have all these superpowers. What kind of thoughts do you have, or what's your audition process to approach a character where something doesn't exist and you have to make it up?
So the breakdown was, it's all about relationships. So the breakdown was he's a superhero, strong in body as he is strong in heart. And basically it was this dialogue with my wife about our son. Similar to that other commercial I booked with the Navy Federal, it was with a little boy, and he was licking an ice cream, and it kind of catch it right before it goes down. I knew that this job is going to, however I get with this kid, however I can relate to this kid is going to give me this job. So I really treat it as it's my own son. It's not about being the military guy. It's about what they don't see. It's about how that tenderness. So similar to, and I don't have a child, but I work with kids at a rehab center, but it's not like my own child. But so he, when I was reading these sides and I was talking to my wife about this son, there was no thought in my mind that I have to do superhero anything, because I am a superhero, but I'm all about this child. Like, you know what I mean? So that's what booked the job, is really, they love the tender moments I had with my son that doesn't exist, so I just figured I just kind of replaced that. Actors have their black boxes, can't tell you everything, Robby. Fair enough. Actors, you have your ways to relate to things. Like I had a pug that I loved so much, and she was like my life, and so just kind of having those feelings and cultivating those feelings, and then just basically like a Superman eye beam, like you focus that on what you're trying to accomplish, So, but it all comes down to relationship. And that's why Meisner is so great, I think, because it deals with the imaginatory rather than, oh God, I have to go method and really like feel all this stuff. Because it puts you into here, whereas the real truth and what people want to see is here, the connection between two people. So, but yeah.
That's funny. You bring up the word method, because I'm going to need you to grab your seatbelt there and buckle in. That's fantastic space work.
Oh man, this is going to be a good one.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached that point of the show where he's still strapping in. That's wonderful. But you're going to need it, my friend, because the next segment of the show is the most difficult segment of all time. Prepare yourself with a do-rag, because you're going to sweat. It's time for method acting. Okay. For those of you playing along at home, I will give Mr. Lou a scenario, and he will give his response as the character in that scenario. Are you ready?
I think so.
You're not. Well, you might think you are, but you're physically and mentally not prepared.
Okay.
Scenario 1. You're Liam Neeson playing a firefighter responding to an attack of the Sharknado engulfing Abraham Lincoln during his speech.
Oh God, the Great White. It's on the roof. We gotta cut the roof. We gotta ventilate the roof. God damn it, man. Hurry. Oh! The president. The president has gone down. He's gone down. Oh, give me the girl.
Okay, that's pretty good. I'm
Did
not
it
going to
work?
lie.
Was it too much?
I'm not going to lie. That's pretty good stuff.
Okay.
But you're only 1/3 of the way there. Get ready for question 2.
You're cast as the Incredible Hulk, but a Hulk who must paint because his ACL is torn.
Hulk. Like paint. Hulk me. Hulk me.
I'm not going to lie. You, sir, are talented. But are you talented to take it all the way?
I think so.
Here we go. I see some dew forming on your forehead.
Yes.
It Might be that LaCroix. Question 3. You are Arnold Schwarzenegger. After you accidentally thought you were taking energy pills before football practice, but it was a handful of estrogen.
So I was with my friends here, and we were taking these tablets that we had in our hands. We didn't know where they came from, but I took one and I was ready to come out to the field and play football and these types of things, you know. I had my protein and my carbohydrate before, and I feel good, you know, I feel powerful. But then I had an erection, and it was the most powerful erection, like a Mr. Olympia, like 1975 when I was Mr. Olympia. Do you remember that? That was the best condition on stage. It was fantastic. But my erection popped through my pants, and the coach said, "Arnold, get out of here. What are you doing here?" I said, "Coach, I have to go forward. My erection, stop talking. It's talking to me." So then I left. But that was essentially how it happened from beginning to end.
And that's it for method acting.
Wow.
Wow. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, that was
good. I kind of did like
sir.
3 different characters.
It doesn't matter because that was
Oh,
fucking
God,
hilarious.
man,
Okay.
that's-
Okay, good.
Okay.
Now I'm really sweating.
That's a
before I-
greatest hit season 2, and that's a good.
I'm just gonna make
moment.
sure that for the YouTube version, it's on the wide shot the whole time, so you can see me and Will pinching ourselves.
Honestly, like I tried so hard not to laugh.
Yeah,
at
that was-
thing.
Did you
Pretty
give
tough.
me the thing that he was taking erection pills, or did I just go-
Estrogen.
We said estrogen,
Estrogen.
But it doesn't
honestly,
matter.
It
doesn't
works even better.
I
I love
forgot.
this idea of Arnold Schwarzenegger getting erect from estrogen pills.
It's more appropriate, I think, right?
Oh my God.
Okay,
Well,
go ahead.
that was phenomenal stuff. Okay, well we're past that, so I'm gonna ask you the same thing I ask all of my guests at the end of the show, Lou, and that is, what would Lou Ferrigno Jr. now tell Lou Ferrigno Jr. starting his career?
Oh man, Lou Ferrigno Jr. now would say, "Don't worry so much. Keep moving forward, and just show up for yourself. Show up. Go to events. If you're invited to things, go. If you have a class and you need to go to, go. Show up for yourself. Whatever you sign up for, go to, because you never know what happened." And there's a couple auditions I took off, like younger Dr. Scholl's or whatever it is. You don't know who's seeing you. You don't know what's going to happen in the room. You can have a whole idea what's going to happen and go completely sideways. And it could be good, it could be bad, but you never know. And those people who don't show up never know. Someone who shows up, amazing things could happen. So just show up for yourself.
Good stuff. Great stuff. I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. We're very excited. A lot of fun, interesting things.
Very,
Round
very
of
good.
applause
It's
if
my
you want to be
pleasure.
literal.
fantastic.
Great job, Producer Will. You were awesome.
So, are you going to give me cash now, or do I have to wait till next week?
It is in the mail.
Let me
In
go
the
to
mail
my
now? Okay,
car.
good.
I wrote you a fat check.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And if it doesn't go through, just call me. I'll write you another. Put it right in the mail.
Just
again.
put cash in the mail. That way I can, just make sure it's secure.
Post office.
Here's what I'll do. I'll
that.
take a bundle of 20s. I'll wrap it in newspaper,
Okay.
and I'll huck it through your window.
Oh, okay. That's good. Got good aim.
You don't have any 20s.
Joke's on you. I don't have any windows in my place. I live in a closet.
Joke's
Oh
on
my
you.
God.
I bird everywhere. So
All right,
Yes.
let's do this.
Cool.
We're going to start the show over again. So here we go. This is Robby D. Just kidding. Fantastic show. I know I did a good job, so I'll tell myself that. Plug any other Instagram? Do you have a regular Instagram
Lou
account?
Ferrigno Jr. on Instagram, Twitter, and who uses Facebook anymore?
Right.
But
Robby
no.
D and the Lesser Knowns does.
Oh, what is it?
we got
Robbie
lots-
D and the Lesser
Lesser
Knowns.
Knowns.
A bunch of followers.
Nice.
No,
Well,
but for real, who does?
I like it.
Mark, step it up.
There you
So,
go.
yeah.
Follow him on Instagram. Very interesting stuff. You can see his artwork too. It's awesome. You'll want to buy something when he starts making prints. We're looking forward to that. And be sure to tune in next week, where our guest is going to be none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's actually in studio now.
Doing a Liam. Robbie, come on. I'm waiting for here. Oh, how are you? Who is this lady here?
Oh, calm down, Arnold. We'll get to that later. Wonderful. Be sure to tune in next week, see Arnold, and as he finds out who that lady is. And
I heard Arnold does a good Liam Neeson impression.
does
too.
Arnold do a good Liam Neeson?
Yeah, I heard.
I would love
Arnold.
to hear Arnold's
Arnold.
Liam. Arnold, come in here and do a Liam
Arnold, get
for
in
us.
here. Can you do your Liam Neeson impression?
Okay, just for you, Robbie. I don't know where the girl is, but please give me the gun. Give me the gun.
Oh, and you died. You died at the end there.
Yeah, I thought it'd like a little twist on what was expected.
Nice.
Arnold's
Oh,
a
Lou,
committed
you're interpreting
impressionist.
for Arnold.
Yeah, I mean, Arnold, we connect ESP.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to miss that next week. Be sure to tune in. Arnold's probably going to be here. That may or may not be true. There's only one way to find out, and that's to tune in. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check us out, RDLK_podcast, and of course on YouTube, Robby D and the Lesser Knowns. Like, subscribe, and see what Lou looks like in person, because you can only hear him right now.
You will not be disappointed.
No, you won't. We'll have him take his
Ladies.
shirt off too. In any case, be sure to tune back. This is Robby D, and these are the Lesser Knowns.
Robby D and the lesser known.